It began on Sinai, the mountain. Adonai spoke his words to Moses the prophet. After many days in his presence, I was delivered on tablets of stone. Do not steal, do not lie, do not bow to other gods. I made the standard clear to the people. I was the commandment, the law.
But they could not keep you.
They could not. They murmured, they complained, they forgot. Moses was yet on the mountain and they already made a golden calf. Impatience. The law had barely been given, yet their heart had already been revealed. It became obvious right there that I could point out sin. I could show what was wrong, but I couldn't change their hearts.
Sure, your job was necessary for a time, but that was to show them that they did need a savior, and this could not be done by human effort.
Moses, he pleaded. He begged for forgiveness. He even offered to exchange his life for theirs. At my appearance, 3,000 so fell. And it became obvious that I couldn't do anything. I could only command from the outside. I could not change their hearts.
But this is where my work begins. In the upper room in Jerusalem, the Spirit was poured out, and men and women were filled with the Spirit upon 120 people. And these people spoke in tongues. There was a rushing mighty wind in that room. Men spoke in tongues. Men were filled with the Spirit. And even some said that they were drunk.
Fishermen, tax collector, a zealot, people without influence.
Yes, and that's the beauty of it. Extraordinary, very beautiful, because God's Spirit came upon natural men. Even Peter, who was one amongst them, stood up and preached a sermon on that day, and 3,000 people were converted into the kingdom.
3,000?
Yes.
The same number, 3,000 fell at the first time I appeared, and 3,000 came alive when you appeared. That means the transformation I could not produce began there.
And that is where it continues. For God has called us to be ministers, not of the letter that kills, but of the Spirit that gives life. Ministers of the New Testament.
Yes. So what then becomes of the people who live in your days?
Extraordinary things, amazing things. What was once kept and given to just a few people is now being poured out upon all men, all flesh, believers, men and women from different walks of life. Men in politics, women in politics, men in business, in the boardrooms, in the classrooms. The Spirit is now being poured out into different spheres of influence upon men and women to represent Jesus.
So the glory did not fade.
No, it did not. And so what was on the face of Moses and was fast fading is now being spread across the hearts of believers, men, women of different races and faces, in their thousands, in their millions, and in their billions. But we all with unveiled face are now beholding as in the mirror of the glory of the Lord, and then transformed from one level of glory to another as by the Spirit of the Lord. And so the transformation continues.